now beaming into NerdFT Radio.
This is NerdFT Radio, where nerds full-time, explorers of the metaverse, surfers of the blockchain, and not in our mom's basement. I'm your host, RSG, a.k.a. the Texas guy, and I'm here with Crypto Crier, a.k.a. the rug buyer. And we have a very special guest. We have Eric from Dragons Crossing with us to nerd the heck out. How are you, nerd? How are you, nerd, is what I was about to say. How are you, Eric? How's it going?
It's going well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Bloater Punch or Eric, we won't go back a little bit. We're big on the DFK circuit. We did a lot of stuff with that. They had a podcast with the Inner Grove. I think we were on there for one of their episodes. They are now making a game called Dragons Crossing that I was able to test out with him, do a little demo. Super cool. So the game is actually going to be launching fully ready to go. It's not going to be like, oh, we got a roadmap with the game coming out, guys. It's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be like a trading card game / Dungeons and Dragons style. Pretty interesting. And Eric can go a little bit more in depth on it, I'm sure. But we can talk about just why did you choose to have a game style more so of a card game or like a Dungeons and Dragons style versus like a traditional video game per se?
First of all, if anyone wants to see any information about the game, our website went live yesterday. It's dragonscrossing.com.
Awesome.
You can see all the art.
Awesome.
You can see the like items and heroes and land. Like you can see a lot of what the game would be all about. You can see the team. We all use our faces, so you can see who's on the team, what they're doing, and who they are, all that jazz. So that's one step. In terms of like game, it's a really interesting process. So we're all from industry. We all have full-time jobs. We're all hustlers. Like the people on the team are all really competent in their respective areas of expertise. And I don't think any of us really understood how hard it is to stand a project up.
Yeah.
So when you say, why did you choose the way you chose? We had a vision for a game. We had a vision for, hey, we're on these projects that all are terrible, or most of them are terrible. And it's, hey, we're actually, and the founders are always like shady personas. Yeah. You never know who they are. Most
Welcome
of them are
NFT.
rugs day 1. And if they're not rugs, it's like rugs day 10.
Day 30.
And then if they're not, they're just
11.
wildly incompetent. Yeah. I'm thinking of a couple Harmony projects off the top of my head whose roadmaps, as you alluded to,
all the above,
extend to 2026, and there's 10 NFT mints on the way. We saw that and we're like, wait, we could do that so much better. We could do it like we could do a real project. The reason we picked the format we picked, circling back to your question, was it's really hard to develop anything. And so we picked a consumable, attainable model, which was like, hey, we'll have simplified but nuanced gameplay. We won't have 3D graphics, but it'll be really art heavy. There'll be voice acting. There'll be sound effects. So there'll be texture to it. It'll feel like a classic RPG. And that's something we feel we could do on a very tight budget. So that's why we picked that way. If I had unlimited money, yeah, we would have made another MMO, which seems like the thing to do. But those are just really hard and really expensive.
I'm just like, yeah, we're going to make this MMO. It's easier to compete with a game company that has multiple billions of dollars of research and
like 400 man development team. Yeah.
Good luck, man. Yeah. So like I said, we did the playthrough on the game. Very cool, very interesting. And if you are a tabletop game player at all, I was hugely impressed. I am a big tabletop game guy. I love that style of gameplay. Love Munchkin, love Dungeons and Dragons. More like
love Munchkin.
I love Munchkin, such a good game. It gets that feel of it's the randomization of dice with again, like you're mixing in with the cards of good, like you said, a good art style, stuff like that. What's like the main draw point for people who aren't really tabletop players, or is it only focusing on them? Is there anything else that you can bring those people in the fold? I know RSG is not a big tabletop.
A couple of things. One is actual game day of launch. Okay, so the mint is in May. The game launches in May. So at the onset, if you're at all interested in Web3 or gaming, I think that's fairly unique. So maybe that should perk some interest. And then beyond that, doxed professional team. So you can meet us. We're in Discord. You see my face on this podcast. You can see our faces on the website. We all have full-time jobs. We're not working out of a warehouse in Czechoslovakia. Like we're all here. We're all ready to, nothing against Czechoslovakians. I think those are some factors. On top of that, one thing that I think is really gets glossed over sometimes is when let's say I said, hey, Crypto Crier, I'm launching a project. And if you get in on day one, I'm going to give you 40,000% APR on any tokens you stake.
Yeah.
And people generally like, ooh, that's so cool, 40,000. But that is essentially, ultimately, a Ponzi scheme. And what happens is you emit this incredible amount of tokens. Some of them are locked, some of them are not. And eventually, unless you have unlimited growth, which eventually stops, people start selling those tokens and the price goes down. And unless people are buying those tokens, which I don't know why they would, because there's generally no token utility, it goes to zero. And the founders do really well. Crypto Crier does really well because he was there day one because I wanted him to be there. But most other people are like exit liquidity. So we're doing a totally...
I'm the exit liquidity. I am that.
Yeah, exactly. Me too. That's why we're doing this project. We got sick of being the exit liquidity. So another huge facet of this, and what people have to get comfortable with, is that you have to have sustainable tokenomics. And for there to be, my hypothesis, my premise, is there have to be winners and losers. And so if you came to my project and I said, everyone's going to get 40,000% APR, it's going to be awesome. Ultimately, what that's saying is it's going to be musical chairs and someone's going to be left holding it back. But if I said there's going to be winners and there's going to be losers, and that distinction will be driven by skill and choice and decision-making and risk, and it's going to feel good, and there'll be ups and downs, and there'll be tense moments, and it'll be a game, then it's, oh, okay, that could persist. And that's what so I'd say your question, what about the people who are on the tabletop? Hopefully something in that buffet of benefits, which I believe exists, would appeal to them.
That's good. What do you think? Could pique your interest there, Red Sox guy?
Listen. First off, you already told me I'm not going to be exit liquidity. So already peaked a little bit. Number one. Number two, from your experience through all these games, you mentioned some on Harmony, you mentioned DFFK, you mentioned, again, I'm assuming you grew up playing video games, everything like that. So and I'm assuming also the rest of the team, same thing as well. So when you grab all of that experience, you see the flaws, you see the good things, you see the bad things, you grab all this experience, and then you're able to now create something unique, something new, something that's yours based off of all that you guys went through. That's something that a lot of people aren't really understanding in the NFT game. I'm going to be honest, where a lot of people are watching others fail and they're not taking notes and they're just falling to do the same exact thing. Yeah,
I just want to be there day one. That's all I want. It's okay if it's a Ponzi scheme. I just want to be there day one.
Exactly.
That's why I was the mayor.
Honestly. Yeah, you're the rug buyer this time.
You guys remember Holy Grail?
I did. I crushed Holy Grail.
Oh, Lord. Yeah.
We made some DGM plays because it like tanked and then it went recovered. I can't remember if I won or lost money, but I was like in there when it was like at 0.00001% or 1 cent. I was like trading in and out.
Yeah, so that's actually a really funny one because we got a guy. So it was like three of us that were doing it, and we're very similar setups. Like we bought all pretty early. He was like, yo, dude, should I get in? Shout out to Truth. He bought the top on twice. So he bought it, and then it went down, Truth. And then he was like, should I get in? And we're like, nah. And he bought it again, and it died. And I was like, oh, my God, dude, come on.
Yeah. Good for him.
All right. R.I.P. to him. R.I.P. to Truth. But I will say it does pique my interest. I actually was looking at the website, and one of the things I did want to mention or ask for you guys. So obviously, this is an NFT game. This is a Web3 game. What aspect, like, what allow when you're a team and you're building this game on the blockchain, like
what benefits to blockchain
that technology? Yeah, like what benefits? Like what's the technology behind it that actually allows you to do something that you maybe weren't able to do if you just made a regular game? Yeah.
So if we made a regular game, no one would buy it because no one would care. First of all, because we'd be competing with like really exceptional products. So Web3 is, I'd say, more open space, just being totally transparent. Like there's more opportunity, I 100%. Think. But I think it does provide really compelling technology benefits as well. And when I play a game, I have no ability to get any upside from it other than my enjoyment of the game. And I think Web3 gives that other upside, which is, hey, I bought this game, I played it, I did really well, I want to sell. So just think about WoW, for example. If they don't want you selling your account, right? They actively prevent you from doing that. They will ban you if you do that, if they find out. And so I think WoW is a great example of like, why can't I sell this, what I have, and access to the game, the strength I've accumulated in the game, my ability to have fun in the game. So you ask, why did you build on the blockchain? So one of them is it's NFT based. To play the game, you need a hero. Okay. Number one. And number two is with that hero, you can find additional NFTs, and you couldn't really do that. You couldn't possess that ownership in Web 2. So we're really high on that. Now, let me talk about attention, though. So I was big on DFK. So is Crypto Crier. A lot of people are, or were, and are. And one of the things I really disliked about my experience, and there were a lot of good things too, was I don't want to sign a transaction every time I take a breath or move my mouse. I don't want to sign a transaction. And so we built the game we built was like, hey, there should be blockchain related, but everything doesn't have to be on chain. That was the distinction. So I think DFK took an approach. Frisky Fox took this mentality of it's this beautiful decentralization. Let's put every single thing on chain. And that creates a lot of frictions. So the other side of it is some things are on chain. I think you could expect to sign between 1 and 3 transactions a session, maybe less. So there are transactions, there are things that touch the blockchain, but everything is not on chain by design.
Yeah, I like that. I will say a really quick, Crier, the friction between my crypto accountant and DFK was not good either. So I can attest to that. There's a lot of friction there. Fired. And I really do. Yeah, you're fired. I'm like, what do you mean? I hired these. Yeah, you're fired. I'm out of here. But I will say that on the side of what at Cool Cats, one of the projects that I follow, that's one of the main things that they saw. And we're like, hey, let's try to avoid that in some of the aspects of what they're doing with their new fraction. So I love that take of it where not everything has to be on the blockchain. There's some elements to a game that should be and can be, but not literally everything. Like it's ridiculous. And it just makes it not unplayable, but it doesn't make it pleasant, like you said. And for a lot of people with a short ass attention span, like one in the space, that definitely is what it's needed. Like people just want to do things quick and they don't have to do multiple clicks and everything like that. Go ahead, Carl.
Yeah, just what you're talking about, that the idea of getting that, breaking the immersion of you in the game is very off-putting for sure. And until the blockchain advancement and technology gets to where like you don't notice it or don't see that, like when you pick up that item,
that's right,
it goes in your inventory, 100%. It just records that for you automatically without you having to do anything. And we're probably like a good 7 years away from that type of thing. Like it's definitely far away, I think.
That seems like a very professional analysis. Yeah. You're like
7.5.
7 years, 4 months. 7 years, 4 months, 23 days, 4 hours.
You know what I'm saying, though? It's not close. It's definitely
it's a long way
definitely
off. Yeah. It's fundamental to the blockchain, right? You got to pay gas. Blockchains take times to record, and I don't know all of the intricacies, but you're right. I agree. It feels like we're far.
Yeah. So until we have that, and again, just how you're saying, we don't need every single thing that you ever do. Create your name transaction. Create your character transaction. That's literally how all of them are generally.
Yeah.
Let me tell you this, though. My quality of life, when DFK was the heyday, okay, and I had 50 heroes, there were no bots yet, and questing all of them 3 times a day, 50 heroes, I was like, I like, you wake up, you're like, Q. And then it's like, the chains are all slow. It's like forever. You're just like, oh,
pending
and then it's like again at lunchtime. It's like again at dinner. Oh my word. I was so sick of it.
Yeah, but it was also like,
but you were doing
$200 per round. Also, you're like, okay.
I guess.
At one point, I was definitely making a lot more money than like most jobs.
That's true.
That's true. Pretty interesting. But anyways, and again, like we talked about this in the demo too. DFK, generally, we're going to talk about this and reference this a lot because it's one thing that we played a lot. I do think they have a lot of potential, but another aspect that you said with the heroes is now we have 200,000 heroes. And
how many? What is because dark summoning addressed some of it?
Yeah, it burnt a little bit.
So what is the count?
I think there is like almost 200. I think it's like 180 or 160,000. Pretty high. But
there's guys on Twitter who are literally like, I summon 150 times a day. I'm like, holy cow, who is buying those heroes?
12 cents a piece. But essentially the idea that we're able to have some sort of, I was a big Axie guy too. And I pivoted all of my Axie stuff into DFK because they improved on what Axie did. Like, Axie has no way to get rid of heroes. Like there's millions. There's just an ass ton of them. So there's literally no way to get rid of them. And then I was like, wow, they actually made a mechanic where you're like, we're going to get rid of these suckers because you don't need millions of them. You need to curate them essentially to make the ones that have any value at all. There was a point in time in 2019 that I got like probably like probably like 35 to 50 axes for free, just because people are like, I have so many of them. Just like
They were like, it would be too much effort to burn these. So take these.
Who wants 10 right here? I'm like, all right, I'll take it. Essentially, that problem becomes in. How do you address that, and what's your mechanic behind?
Again, taking that from DFK, personally, I took that from DFK, and I was like, hero inflation feels really bad, especially for hero holders. People who hold heroes don't want there to be unlimited, because that devalues what you're holding. Hero inflation is a really big topic. So one thing we tweaked from DFK is, and again, we're not a DFK clone. It's not like DFK, but we use some of the DFK mechanics because we thought they were really good. So one of them is the idea of a Gen 0, which we call Genesis Hero. But instead of there being unlimited 10 generations after, there's only one new generation. It's called Rift Heroes. And Rift Heroes cannot generate additional heroes. So Genesis Heroes control the entire populace. That's one mechanic. So it's not indefinite growth. It's limited or linear growth. And the second is heroes are really rare. And you can't, so in DFK, you can summon, if you have the jewel, you can summon on a timer just over and over again. In this game, the only way to get additional heroes is to take a Genesis hero and play the game and find shards, summoning shards from loot. So if you're not playing the game, number one, you can't find summoning shards. And number two, just because you play the game doesn't guarantee every time you play, you'll find a summoning shard. So we're controlling drop rate. We want there to be a really nice tension between supply and demand. We don't want there to be a market inundated with these heroes because it makes finding heroes really not fun. And it makes why should I hold the Genesis hero if the value of holding it doesn't really help me that much? Yeah. Because these things aren't worth anything.
Quick question on the Genesis hero side of it. How many, and you're saying the mint is coming up. That's when the game will launch as well. How many mints? What's the allocation on that?
So public mint is 2,500 and there'll be 50 for the team. So 2,550 and then 250 reserved for airdrops, marketing, partnerships, etc. So the total supply of Genesis heroes will be 2,800. Okay. And that's it. There'll never be additional Genesis heroes. And it's up to those heroes. They will control the supply of heroes in the game and no one else will. Yeah. So we're trying to create hype around holding one of those.
Absolutely. Now, for someone that unfortunately is in that day one, unfortunately doesn't have the funds to grab that Genesis hero at the beginning or later on, the game succeeds. You guys are like, oh man, everything's growing. Things are going good. If someone new that comes into the space wants to jump in and be like, hey, you know what? I want to get into this. Is there a way to play the game without having a hero? And then
nope. You got to have a hero, but think about this. The benefit of playing the game, Genesis has value, right? That'll be great to have a Genesis hero. But if you're like, I showed up month 4, why should I play the game? The game is set up, again, I talked about winners and losers. So this is what I want you to think about. This is the metaphor I'll use. Imagine we had 4 I used to skateboard in high school, class of 2004. Okay. Big skater. I could heel flip sometimes. And imagine you had 4. By the way, you give me a skater vibe, Red Side. Like I could see you on the skate at the skate park. What's up?
I wish, bro.
You got
what about the
vibes.
room behind him gives you skateboard vibes?
Oh, the room. Yeah, maybe a little bit. I don't know.
Skateboard vibes. So imagine you had 4 really confident skaters and you said, hey, I'm going to put on a big skating exhibition and each of you are going to pay $100 to participate. And the winner will get $300 and second place will get $50. Okay. That's our game. Okay. So when you come in, and again, so imagine 100 people play, 45 of them are going to 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x their season investment because they paid an entry fee. And so when they pay that fee and they do really well, they make smart choices. They take risks. They itemize correctly. They learn the mechanics and they win. They're going to receive really high rewards for their participation in the season. But you have the other skaters, didn't make good choices, didn't itemize correctly, died, etc. They won't get their entry fee back. They won't be able to multiply their entry fee. And that's true of anyone who holds any hero, Rift or Genesis. So whether you hold the Genesis or a Rift hero, your ability to perform in the season is identical. The point about Genesis heroes is they can just produce more heroes, which is additional upside for them. But that doesn't make them better at the game or their ability to earn in the game.
Gotcha. Yeah. So
and that goes back to sustainable tokenomics. That model is sustainable.
For sure.
Because you have $400 coming in and $350 going out.
Yeah. The other idea is if you can't afford the Genesis heroes, the other option is the Rift heroes, which come out over time. Right.
The market will determine what those are worth.
Mm-hmm. And then I think you had mentioned this in our demo that we did the game. It was roughly looking at like 10,000 over emission heroes over the first year or something roughly.
Over the first year, but that could change. Let's say, again, I'm just throwing out a number. Let's say there was 30,000 individual wallets that wanted to play. We might be like, hey, community, we need to up the drop rate, right? And the inverse is true as well. Let's say only 8,000 people, like we can read the volume and then tweak the drop rates accordingly. But it's really going to be subject to, we want there to be a really nice tension between people, the demand side, and what the drop rates are. If we put the drop rates super high, people are just pooping out heroes. I don't think that's good for anybody. So we have to have a nice tension.
Yeah, I like it. That's one thing I think is coming from, again, a games of Axes, these things like that. It is all that, mega ultra hype and everyone gets pumped in and everyone's excited. And then when they see the just constant emission of everything, it gets very, I don't know, just off-putting per se. And most, even not even just games, just every there's very few DeFi protocols at all, or anything in the crypto space that actually has good tokenomics. Like off the top of my head, I can think of maybe five platforms that actually have the token has value. That's really, Curve is like one of the ones I'm like, okay, that has value because everyone needs to use it for DAOs and shit. What kind of things have you thought about this in terms of the tokenomics, and what other tokens are in the game besides
So there's only one token. It's DCX. You need tokens to play the season. So there's that one token utility. You need tokens to summon. You need tokens to learn skills, which are also NFTs. And then outside of those three core functions at launch, additional token utilities planned. The more token utility, the better. I think everyone intuitively gets that about tokens. Yeah. So like most projects back in the bull run were like, hey, here's a token. We're really cool. This is like a cool project, but zero utility. But hey, we got 40,000% APRs. This is so fire. And that's obviously not going to work. So we want there to be huge amounts of token utility, and we're launching with decent utility. We're going to increase the utility as we progress.
Very cool.
Really quick before we go into another topic, I did see that again, we're talking about how the mint is coming up. Now I went over to the mint button and I see that there's a random mint and then there's a boosted mint. So for the people that are looking to take part of the actual drop and everything like that, what are those mechanics like? So I see that if you do the mint, if you do the boosted mint, you're just going to have a little bit more say into exact class and gender of the heroes that you're receiving, and you increase your rarity chance. So is that obviously going to cost just a little bit more?
Just a little extra cheddar on top. Yep. So you don't have to do it, but for those people who want that additional benefit, like open to it.
Awesome. And then do you guys have the price of what the mint is going to be? All those
Red Sox guy, what do you think the price of the mint will be?
I have no idea. That's why I'm asking.
I'm just saying.
Trying to get some feedback.
So I will say this. This is what we've said so far, and so I can't say more than we've said yet. Okay. We haven't announced it. But I will say it will be between $200 and $400 to mint a hero.
Awesome. All right. And then on the side of the boosted, same range or?
Yeah, same rate. Like it wouldn't be crazy. It would be a small premium to boost. It wouldn't be anything crazy.
Very cool.
Awesome.
We got anything else that you want to cover on this one, or anything else you can think of that might be beneficial to people listening?
So just for your FYI listeners, we have gameplay available. You can go see what the game looks like. We did a town hall. We did a full game demo. So Crypto Crier got a one-on-one demo because he's super cool. Right? He's a VIP. And you're not all VIPs, unfortunately. Just kidding. You really are.
Really quickly, it just means that Crier just lost a lot in DFK, so you felt bad for him, so you allowed him to see it. Got it.
That's right. Isn't that what I said?
That's what he meant.
Okay.
That's what you said.
But you can go see, like, the game plays like an old school, I would say, polished art RPG with a lot of texture. And we gave a little 5-minute gameplay teaser. There's a lot more that goes into it. But if you're like, I just want to see what it is, you can go see right now. We saved that town hall video to our YouTube. So if you just go look up Dragons Crossing on YouTube, you can see the town hall. You can meet the team. We do a ton of Q&A. Hop in the Discord. I'm in the Discord. I'm the founder. I know all the mechanics. I'm involved in all the development. I lead the development. If you ask me a question, I will answer it in the Discord. Yeah, we're pretty transparent. I think we have a really good thing going. So.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Now, one last question on my side. So for you, you have everything already on this roadmap that the game's going to be out when they mint. Everything's going to go as planned if it does, hopefully. Afterwards, what are you most excited about in the future? Okay, this is what I would love for us to go ahead and try or do something different or do something the same as all the other games that have been out there. Like what would excite you the most that you are
That's a
like,
great
hey,
question.
what if we did this?
You're a good host. You guys should do this more often. This is a good podcast.
It's like our 130th episode. So
you guys are polished at this point. You're a well-oiled machine.
We're trying, and we're nerds. So what else do we have to do? So come on.
So I would say my number one priority post-launch is stability, right? So there's gonna be a phase where we're super high burn on, is balance. Game balance is gonna be so big. Like one of my fears is someone's gonna say, because again, it's seasonal and it's competitive. So if the warrior class is overtuned and the mage class is undertuned, oh, it's so stupid, it's broken, the warriors all won, that's so dumb. So there's got to be I'm really concerned about balance. I'm concerned about just the stability of the app, making sure there's just totally seamless. We've resolved all the bugs. But the first feature that we're super focused on is it's a competitive game by nature, but I want there to be more of the traditional, I log in, I have the same hero, that hero never goes away, and I don't reset with a season. So consider it like perpetual play. I don't pay to play a season because I'm always logging in, just like a typical video game. And so I want to get that perpetual mode off the ground because someone might want to participate, but they're like, I don't like the competitive thing. I don't want to compete against a season ladder. I just want to log in and play and maybe have a little upside. And so that's our first mode is that mode. We're calling it perpetual or adventure mode.
Okay. I will say right now, if I am minting, I definitely got to go to the Warriors side. I'm a big Vikings guy. Like anything Vikings, just I need. So we're definitely
expecting a DM from you at some point, letting me know if you're minting. Because you're still on the fence. I want to know if you actually
pushed him over.
I got to go look at you. Listen, Cryer got a one-on-one demo. I got to figure out the peasants over here, the less VIPs, and figure it out. But it's definitely something really cool to look at. The art looks phenomenal. The zones look awesome as well. Actually, while you were talking, was watching the video a little bit, so taking it in and seeing it again. I'm a big RuneScape fan, so when you when I look at this, I said it first, Cryer. It's usually you that says RuneScape. It's kind of weird, but when I see this type of the art and the characters, it reminds me of that game, which I literally have open to the left of me right now.
He's triple tasking.
So again, it's just. I'm quadruple taxing.
He's
right
playing
now,
Marvel Snap.
If I'm being serious. No, not Marvel Snap right now. But by the way, side note, I got to Infinite. I'm level 105 right now on Marvel Snap. I just had to say that first time.
You just wanted to throw that out.
You just had to throw that in there. But I will say again, the website looks awesome. The mint is going to be great. Again, just seeing it. I wouldn't say, what would I not say? This is something different. This is something new. When you said that you're going to have everything ready, I'm not used to that. Cryer, we're literally waiting.
You've been abused. You're like a battered woman. I'm trying to take care of you. I want to rehab you.
I'm literally doing these
right
projects
off the bat
to do
if it's
things,
great or not. If it gets good reception,
we'll figure it out. That. And here, I'll be honest as well. If you have that game ready and know some people have played it and whatnot, and guess what? The game isn't as what you thought it was going to be. That allows you to have that feedback from the community and able to take that feedback and figure things out. That's the whole point of I believe of Web3 and what's going on. Building in the open, building with the community, taking that feedback and building together and just figuring things out. And again, like you said, Web3 world is so open right now. You're not competing against these massive, the Microsofts, the Activision is Microsoft now.
Just indie games in general.
All these
Blizzard. Wait, no, that's Activision too.
That's Activision too. All these massive Nintendo, PlayStation, Sony. There you go. Ubisoft. There you go. All these people, so it just allows you to figure it out, and it's just an awesome thing to do. And like you said at the beginning of it, you were and just now we've been abused by a lot of projects in the Web3 space, and maybe the best people in this space are those that unfortunately went through the ringer and now have all the tools, highly abused, have really all the tools and experience. It makes me a very good founder. Exactly. And that makes you into something. It's going to allow you to not become who you thought you were going to become, or this is the start of a villain arc and you do become what you thought you were into. And then it's like a whole, we won't talk about that.
We increased the admissions by 10,000%, guys. Let's do this shit.
Load it up.
But yeah.
Load it up. But no, it's been definitely awesome to have you on. I know it's gonna be Crier's gonna be the one that's gonna just be like, all right, RSG, let's do it, let's figure it out. Here's what's going on. He's the massive nerd on that side, while I just stick to, as you can tell, all the Marvel stuff. But it's gonna be super cool to look at it. Again, because of Crier, I was able to, fortunately or unfortunately, become a part of DFK. Honestly, I'll
At
take
22?
all.
Did you get in at 22?
No,
$22.
$22.
Oh, no, but I got in. It was fun. And the one thing I will say on this side of DFK, at least for me personally, that obviously Crier's the bigger crypto guy, DeFi guy, even NFT guy. For me, it allowed me to learn so much more about DeFi, so much more about projects. So
LPs
again,
and
I'll always take
like all this
stuff.
stuff.
LPs, all
Why
this
do you have a
crazy
picture
stuff.
of Crier up in your room? Like, I feel like his image should be in your room.
It's over. It's
I
there.
actually do have, it's right there, but it's his alien. It's not
It's over the
him.
bed.
It's his lonely alien, not over the bed. But I do
On
have
the
a picture
ceiling
there.
over the
Yeah.
bed?
I actually have 2 pictures of Cryer in my room. I'm
Do you
not gonna
really?
lie, and it's with I do, with you, me, Fudd. All we were in
Oh, yeah.
Miami, and the other one. Actually, both were in Miami. You know what?
Fair.
I'm for the team. I'm for NRN. So I have pictures of the squad. But other than that, I did want to go ahead and end the episode with just a little bit of nerd talk. More than happy to jump in here, Eric, because hopefully you're on that.
I'm a nerd.
I mean,
I'm a big nerd.
you're a nerd. You're already on this show, so that means
Totally
you're a nerd. But I did want to mention. Did I mention that I was 100 on Marvel Snap?
Yeah, you did, bro.
Got it.
Just
I just
make
wanted
sure
to make sure.
clarify.
Number one. Number
I think that's
two.
higher priority, yeah.
Yeah, high priority there. Number 2, for all the people that have been caught up with The Mandalorian, wow. Just wow. Phenomenal stuff going outside. Bad Batch as well. On the other show I've been watching, Ted Lasso. Hopefully, Crier, you've been watching as
Love
well.
Ted Lasso. I'm still haven't watched these. I've been really busy last. I was on vacation.
Good.
Crier.
I'm rewatching
So
season
good.
1 and 2, so I will go back into season 3.
Oh yeah,
We
it's
love
so
it.
good. It's like
It's
great
phenomenal.
show.
What a good show. It's great. Other thing I did want to say, I'm catching up on One Piece. I'm almost there. I'm almost at 800 episodes, just to let
Hard
the
pass.
people know.
I
That's what
try. I watched
said
one
for
episode
5
because he's like,
years.
dude, it's so good. I'm just like, it's not
It's
for me.
phenomenal, man.
Have you guys watched
here?
Hunter x Hunter? I'm watching with my son.
I have not.
So
I've been
good.
told it's
It
really
is
good.
so good.
I've been
gotta
told by a
watch
lot of
Hunter x
people
Hunter.
that it's really good. I'm actually not a big anime person. My girlfriend, her brother, for the last literally 5 years has been like One Piece, One Piece, One Piece, One Piece, and I said no. And then last
Anything
year,
that's 800 episodes long, like already hard pass.
He started not even long. I was like 2 months, 3 months, maybe 4 months. He's housed them.
7 months, 6-7 months. So I've been going ham. I got all the
Also, have either of you done
figures.
Castlevania?
I'm not a big anime
I have
guy. I've
not
only
either.
watched like 7.
I'm not
Okay,
either. That's the
I'm not
thing.
either, actually. I don't
Me
watch a
neither.
ton of
Yeah,
anime.
yeah, yeah.
But Hunter x Hunter, Castlevania are like
Good.
so good.
That's the thing. I have to finish this to get into something else, but we'll
Almost
see
there.
what happens. The other thing I did also want to mention on the Marvel side, we finally got a date for Secret Invasion, which is the Nick Fury show, Samuel L. Jackson.
Nice.
If I'm not mistaken, it's July 21st. We're finally getting something. And on the other side, Daredevil, we're getting some more information of what exactly it's going to be. And it looks like they're going the route. This could be somewhat of a spoiler. So if you don't want to hear this, close your ears. But I think they're going the route of Mayor Kingpin, and pretty much taking down vigilantes. And it's going to be with Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, Daredevil, Punisher, and Spider-Man. So we might see Spider-Man in one of those 18 episodes that Daredevil is going to be a part of next year. So I'm just super excited of anything Marvel, as you can tell.
Wait, is it the same Daredevil actor from the Netflix show?
Yes.
Okay, so here's my question. I'm not a big Marvel guy. I did watch Daredevil, and I had to stop. It was so frustrating. This is his shtick. He goes, I can't kill anybody. And then he'll, like, throw someone down 7 flights of stairs. And I'm like, okay, if they're not dead,
It's like Batman.
they are maimed for life.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
once
that's-
you're like, no, wait,
Not
it gets
dead,
better.
though.
Then someone breaks into his apartment and is trying to murder him, okay? And this super hot girlfriend slits the ninja's throat, and he's like, how dare you kill that person? I was like, what did you want her to do? Are you kidding me? I'm
Throw him
out.
downstairs. He wanted you to throw him downstairs.
Exactly, just throw him down the stairs, maim him
Throw
for
him down the
life.
stairs.
He'll eat out of a tube for the rest of his life.
High
Just
quality.
don't take his life.
Listen. This is
so
that's always
frustrating.
been the thing with Batman. He every time he's I don't
It's
kill,
super
but he
lame.
literally like just beats the
Shit.
living crap out of everyone.
Yeah, I agree. It's really
Like,
lame.
it's
but
pretty
Daredevil,
wild.
I felt was more egregious.
You a boys
Okay,
fan then?
I-
You just
hey,
like light them,
listen.
just like melt people.
Oh, the
Dude,
boys.
I thought they boys or what is it called? What's the cartoon?
Invincible.
Invincible.
Invincible was so good.
This guy loves Invincible.
Yes, I
That
love
first episode,
Invincible.
I was like in shock when he kills the whole Justice League. I was just like blown
I
away.
have literally like massive like volume books. I watched that first episode and read all the comics. That's how. And I don't
Wait,
really.
so did the comics match perfectly?
They do like little like they do most of it, but in the show, which I also think The Last of Us did such a
Yeah, Last
great
of Us is
job with,
incredible.
they added just a little bit of a spin that even the fans of the comic, even the fans of the game, had like a oh shit moment because you
Okay,
didn't
so that way
expect
it's
it.
not a play-by-play, right? Like you
Exactly,
get
exactly.
Some new
feel.
feel.
You get something new, something different for those fans that have been waiting literally years for the show, movie, etc. So super awesome. Invincible, they actually have said that it is coming at the end of this season or end of this year. We are
A
getting
long time.
Invincible
We've been waiting
season
a
2.
long time.
It's been a while, man. I know. So I'm super excited. A lot of really great things are out right now. Another thing, again, the Guardians of the Galaxy, Flash, John Wick's out right now. I did go see Creed 3, not that good, but that's about it. That's all we got. Eric, thank you so much for stopping by. Let me ask you this. If anyone wants to find you on Twitter, the Twitter for the project, everything like that, go ahead and spit all that out right now. And we will also put this in the podcast description so it's easy to click, easy to find. So go ahead.
So my handle is at Bloater Punch, and the project is at Dragons Crossing.
Perfect.
And if you want to find us on Discord, Dragons Crossing, YouTube, Dragons Crossing, and the website is dragonscrossing.com.
Perfect.
Perfect. And for last thing, I will ask the mint date so everyone knows. You have
TBD,
it.
but it's in May. We'll announce it.
Perfect.
We will announce it very soon.
Very
Awesome.
cool.
Awesome. For everyone listening
got one
in,
more thing.
Crier,
Got one more
you
thing.
finish
I got
this
it.
for us. Ooh, go ahead.
Tomorrow I will be wiping RSG's body off the floor in a play wild card tournament. That'll be hosted on Twitch.
Okay, that's not where I thought that was going, by the way. When you said I'm going to wipe his body, I just was like,
Yeah.
okay, where are we going with this?
He was gonna daredevil me. He was literally about to throw me down the stairs right after. So
I got pictures of RSG on this wall too, so we're good. No, we play wild card. They'll be coming on the 5th of April. So it's another Web3 game. It's a competitive, like a MOBA. So it's a 1v1 type situation with 3v3 also coming up. But we will have a tournament tomorrow. Whoever wins gets to give away all of the whitelist spots. So pick Team Crier or Team RSG. You can find it on our NRN website.
I will say that Yaba picked Crier, so which means I'm going to win because we always inverse Yaba.
Yaba's calls are bad.
Everyone listening in at home, thank you so much for tuning into another episode. Eric, it was a pleasure having you on the podcast as well. Always a pleasure for you to come back, nerd out, talk about the project, or just cry about DFK with us as well. Thank you, everyone. We'll catch you guys. Keep grabbing those bricks and build something.
There you go.
I still can't end this podcast one of these days, maybe 128.
There you go.
Peace.